Today we're going to talk about stress, and specifically about managing it, recognizing it, and working to keep it under control. Stress is something that affects people regardless of what they're doing, where they are in life, what age they are, how successful they are. It doesn't matter, it affects everyone. Stress does affect everyone, and it affects everyone a little bit differently. Stress may make you mad, it may make you upset, it may just make you feel tired or like you don't have control of the situation. Because stress affects everyone, a lot of people have worked to develop strategies to help people cope with stress, manage it, and make sure that stress doesn't become an overwhelming, all-consuming thing. We'll all experience stress at different points of our life, especially at places like school or work. Pretty much everyone has to deal with it. And because everyone has to deal with it, there's a lot of people that can help you work on managing it and making it something you can control rather than something that controls you. Let's start with the first key question. That question being, what is stress? Let's tackle it with a real life scenario. You're waking up and you have to get to school. You've slept in too late, so now you're rushing to try to get out of the house on time. You feel the stress start to build as you begin to rush. You grab a Pop-Tart, and in your haste, the Pop-Tart crumbles in your hands, cascading to the ground, and then your tiny, adorable dog eats the Pop-Tart. At this point, you can definitely feel the stress starting to build. You finally make it to school, late to class, and you've missed part of your work, so you're behind. Worse, in your rush to get to school, you left your homework at home. You're now hungry, tired, behind on your work, and frustrated because your grade in class just took a hit. Your neighbor in class, who's actually stressed out about their own problems, keeps tapping his hand rhythmically on his desk next to you. And as he continues to tap on his desk, you begin to grind your teeth together. As the day goes on, problem after problem happens. You get home and you're overwhelmed by chores. Maybe your internet disconnects while you're trying to do homework. Maybe you've got to do some babysitting and that baby is crying nonstop. It all builds up until you can physically feel the tension. At this point, you've had an incredibly stressful day and you can feel it. Like we said, stress affects everyone. Maybe the scenario I just went through is a little bit extreme and includes a whole lot of problems, but there is likely something in there that sounds familiar to you. Pause and reflect for just a second. Tell me about a time recently when you felt stress, when stress bothered you. Stress tends to hit people because of a few common themes, and we can work on managing it if we can first recognize it. First, stress comes from breaks from your regular routine. Maybe you didn't get enough sleep the night before. Maybe you missed a meal. Maybe you're just trying something new. Every day should be a little bit different. That's part of life. But we're talking about something that breaks up your day so that it's interrupted from the direction that you planned on it to go. Sometimes stress comes because you have no control. Maybe something completely out of your hands happens. Somebody you care about is sick. You can't find something you've lost, or you're waiting on something to happen. You have no control of the situation, so you begin to feel stressed. Occasionally, stress can strike out of nowhere. You trip and drop your food, and your dog eats it, and you're stressed about it. You rip your pants. Your chair makes an embarrassing noise when scooted across the floor, and that one kid immediately blames you. You know that kid. Stress is normal. It's part of being human. Some types of stress, usually referred to as eustress, can even be helpful or just part of things, like riding a roller coaster, or the feeling you get when a big game's about to start and you want to do well, or when you're in some type of other competition. Usually, the stress we want to watch out for in life is the chronic type of stress, as in something that you feel for a long period of time. That tension doesn't go away. Or it's the type of stress that impacts your ability to do the things that you love to do. Uncertainty in life can equal stress. And since life is full of uncertainties, it's also full of different things that stress us out. But it's also full of things that we can use to combat stress. Question 2 is, why is it important to recognize stress? It's important to recognize stress early on so we can keep it from building up, or so that we can seek help if we find it overwhelming. It may also help to be able to spot stress so we can help a friend in need. Helping someone else combat stress can make their day better and ours by extension better. Again, signs of stress between people can differ pretty dramatically, but there are some easy signs to look for with both emotional stress, and physical stress. So watch out for these on the emotional side. If you get the feeling of being on edge, which is kind of hard to describe, but you know it when you feel it, that's probably stress affecting you. If your emotions in general feel way off or more intense than usual, that's probably stress. You may have extra trouble keeping track of things or remembering to do something if you're stressed. Decision making can be more difficult, and concentrating and getting work done can be more difficult, and you may feel like the regular everyday tasks you do are suddenly overwhelming. Those are all signs of emotional triggers for stress. Some physical signs to watch out for are that feeling of being on edge. It can also be a physical feeling, and it can include things like an increased heart rate or tension in your body. Things like general aches and pains you don't usually feel, grinding teeth or clenching your jaw unconsciously, feeling more tired than usual, or just not sleeping great. Those are just a few things that can be signs that you are stressed, and things that you can use to recognize and then work against that stress. Again, very different signs from person to person, and they may be subtle enough that you don't notice them for a while, but keep a lookout. Question 3 says, what can I do to manage stress? There are a lot of general first steps that are usually advised as a sort of pre-attack on stress. The idea being that if you do these, your body and mind will be more likely to be able to avoid that negative stress more easily. One is to try to stick to a routine. This is not always easy, especially if you have a crying brother or sister in the house, or your dog won't stop barking at absolutely nothing. But in general, things like trying to go to bed and wake up around the same time are pretty helpful. And of course, trying to get enough sleep, even if you don't quite reach it, still helps a lot. Food and what we consume helps too. You don't have to be the god of health food, but it helps to pay attention to what you're eating and drinking. Maybe too much sugar at different parts of the day is causing you to have swings in energy or making you more tired than usual. Things like caffeine can be a major trigger for stress and anxiety. They can increase those feelings of anxiety and agitation in the body, particularly when you consume a whole lot of it. So pay attention to how much caffeine is in a drink, particularly before you drink it. Exercise can also help people deal with stress in advance and when it's happening. You don't have to run marathons, but taking some time throughout the week to move can help a whole lot of people manage their stress. Taking time during the week in general for yourself can help dramatically. Time management is tough and definitely a good topic for future discussions, but if you can try your best to work in some things that you enjoy every day, things like hobbies, like hanging out with friends, family, etc., it can help you combat stress in advance. Being around people that make you feel safe and comfortable and people that have a positive outlook can help. If you find yourself just kind of spiraling into negative talk or thoughts, look for someone to reach out to that helps you feel the opposite of that. If you don't have anybody like that, reach out to a trusted adult or family member or ask them if they know anybody who can help you out, because there are people that can. There are a lot of relaxation techniques that can help too. Things like breathing exercises can help some people manage stress, and others report things like meditation, like practicing their faith, taking some quiet time to themselves, can all help people manage it also. Some people also say that writing thoughts down can help. Things like keeping a journal or a diary or other method to write down thoughts and feelings, especially at the end of the day, can kind of help people decompress and move past things. Taking a head-on approach can help too. If you're finding certain parts of your day are causing you stress in particular, work on a strategy to reduce or avoid that stressful part of the day if you can. Maybe it means keeping a planner to manage your time, or working ahead on a weekend day so you have less to worry about during the week. But whatever it is, try to make it so that those very stressful parts of your week are less impactful. If you need strategies, there's a lot that can help you tune out things that are causing you stress. So let's take some time to pause and reflect. Which method do you think would work best for you to help you manage stress? Let's look at our final point for this video. Where can I find help with stress? Don't try to tackle everything on your own. If you ever feel the least bit overwhelmed or like stress is causing an effect on your mental or physical well-being, reach out for help. Basically, every trusted adult around you has dealt with stress in some capacity and probably has strategies to help. Ask them what they do to relax. Ask them what they do to get past the anxiety that comes with stress. Friends and family are a good source of help, and almost every school and major institution has counselors and professionals who literally help people deal with stress and anxiety as part of their day-to-day job. As with all things, don't be afraid to ask for help, and if you need help immediately, groups online like the Crisis Text Line and others can help. Thank you for listening to this dive into stress and what we can do to recognize and manage it if it's affecting us. Use this as a kicking off point to explore what you can do to reduce stress, and use what you've learned about stress to help keep an eye out for friends and the people you care about. Thanks, and have an excellent day.